Hello, everybody, and welcome to Answer the Call. This week's topic is Star Citizens community content. I think it means a lot to a lot of us. I want to preface this with the community content is not only important to me as a backer and finding out what's new and what's coming and keeping me engaged and excited with the project, but it's also important to me as a streamer because it gives me content and gives me something to discuss with my community, even on this podcast, right? So I want to preface it with that. So, you know, obviously I may find it more important than other people because it's content for me, right? Before we get started, what do I consider CIG's community content? It might be more than what you consider it. Video content, first and foremost. ATV, Calling All Devs, RTV, and any other videos they put out. Articles on their website, their lore posts, specifically This Week in Star Citizen. Any posts that they give to us about news and what's going on is very important. So, yes. Ship sales are even community content. And to be honest, I think it's their priority as far as community content is the ship sales. We get cinematics, we get beautiful screenshots and lore and all these things, all based around ship sales. Lots and lots of stuff's based around ship sales. So that's community content. Free flies. But most importantly, community content is communication with their fan base, us. Not just on Spectrum, not just on their videos, but on Twitter, Facebook, Reddit, everywhere. Now, I know community content has been lacking lately. There's no denying that. But at the beginning of the year, I don't think it's appropriate for us to necessarily be upset at them about not updating us very much at the beginning of the year, because at the beginning of the year, they plan their entire year. Is it wrong for us to expect them to have their entire year planned out and tell us what's coming in 3 weeks? For a company of 500 people doing the most ambitious game in the world, I don't believe so, okay? So, looking back, the fact that we don't have a 3.7 and 3.8 on the roadmap is a little bit weird. I think we should always have it a year out, personally, and if it changes, it changes. That's me. I think Around the Verse has been lacking for some time now, pretty massively, and I have a feeling about that. And I kind of have a feeling, guys, that development has shifted. Okay? Development has shifted. And it's shifted to a game that we're not allowed to see. They got a massive influx of money from an investor that was investing in specifically the marketing of Squadron 42. So once that investment comes in, what shifts? The development has to shift towards Squadron 42 more than ever before, because now that investment has to be earned. Like that person who's put the investment into the company now has to get a return on that investment, and probably as soon as possible, right? So given that, I feel like the updates and Around the Verse and all these things are not going to be as exciting as they were in the past, unfortunately, okay? So in my opinion, I think the small weekly updates that we get on ATV are fine. And, you know, continue RTV and maybe make it more engaging with the community, okay? So I'm just going to give my kind of what I expect from them now. I expect small weekly updates when they have a feature, something really cool that's coming that they really want to feature and show us. You do a little bit of a longer one, and you use RTV to actually engage with us, get to know us. Don't have it, RTV doesn't need to have a guide for that day. It doesn't have to be an RTV on ships. It doesn't have to be an RTV on this. It doesn't have to be an RTV on that. It needs to be a communication, a conversation between us and you. And it just has to be Jared. It doesn't have to be anyone else. Hey, Jared, what's going on with this? I don't know, guys. I'll get back to you on that. And I'll let you know next week. hey guys, what's going on with that? You know, and he goes, oh, I do know that. I have some updates. Here you go. Things like that, right? I think the community team should be dealing with the community. I think developers do not need to be involved as much as they are. I think developers hosting ATV is ridiculous. I think the involvement with the developers is way too high, and they will also be saying that as the community content continues to lack. Oh, well, we can't take developers out of making the game to update you on the community. Well, then Jared needs to do it, and then maybe we need more than just Jared hosting community content. We probably need another host, right? Things like that. So that's where I'm at with this stuff, okay? I don't think the sky is falling or anything like that. I just really think the major lacking issues are that they don't engage with us anymore. They're too big. I almost feel like they're too cool sometimes to engage with us. Xylo, I know, like is mentioned in Twitch chat right now, is playing on Twitch streams all the time. You know, with WTFsaurus, with some of these other bigger streamers that are in there, and it's just they could be doing that, but actually communicating with us about issues that we have with the game and so on and so forth. I think they are terrible at putting out fires when we're upset about stuff. They're not very good with communication. So I'd like to see more of that in the future. All right. All right, guys. We do have a bit of a queue now, so I'm going to bring in our first caller. His name is CyberianK. I almost went to the wrong scene. CyberianK. Hello, CyberianK, and welcome to Answer the Call. How you doing?
Yeah, hi.
So how do you feel about the community content?
Yeah, so I want to make my main point, maybe. And I think my main point is that it's impossible for them to give us high-quality content on a weekly basis.
Yes, I agree.
I think, for me, that has been clear for a number of years now. And it has been worse, right? So Jared and others, they have improved the content.
Oh, absolutely.
It still has issues,
okay.
Right? And my main point is it's impossible to give, especially the more engaged fans. And to be honest, to me, it seems that that's the main audience of ATV. Right?
Absolutely.
It's not
Absolutely.
60% new people watching it every year.
No, it's the same like 30 to 40,000 people that watch every week. Yeah. It's the same people. Yeah. That hasn't really grown. I'm sure they're getting a lot of new backers and stuff through those videos, but for the most part, it's us.
So do we want to have every 2 weeks, do we want to have a question answered that is addressed to a new guy that's not really watching? Or do we want to have a free fly event? Maybe it's an interesting thing, but
yeah,
what is the audience and what is the content?
Yeah.
So for me, there's one thing what I would want, and then there was the other thing that's maybe best for the game. And ultimately, I'm all in. So I want what's best for the game.
Of course.
Even if that's not necessarily what I want. So, for example, the ship sales. I hate them. I bought my last ship. That was the Hull E. That is like 2 years ago or whatever, when it was first on sale. That's my last ship that I bought. So, and I'm one of those. I'm a little whale. So I got an Idris and I got an Hull E and I got an Orion, and then 2 more ships. But that's it. I'm not buying any more ships.
Yeah.
Right. So I'm not interested, and I'm not the target audience for their ship sales. But ultimately, a lot of those things that they are doing, even if the hardcore fans hate them, they might still be best for the game. So the ship sales and the continuous engagement, even if the more hardcore fans and basically everybody that watches Twitch is not a casual fan of the game.
Yeah.
So even if we don't like that, it might still be best for the game. Like what a publisher does and what a professional game company does. So some of the directions that CRG is going in, and like Jared, sometimes he acts like a professional, right? He's more professional than some of the other guys we had and some of the other guys we see.
Of course,
sometimes he's a smart guy, so he knows what is maybe damaging, and so he knows what to say, and he's really giving he's made the format more professional, but at the same time, that might not be the thing that some people like.
And
right?
and that's where I'm at. Is I follow other video games. I'm sure everybody else does. The amount of times that they come at us with we want to step up our community content. We want to step up our game. That's not what we want. We want you just to talk to us. When I watch other games, when I'm following other games and their community engagement and their community management, it is literally some dude sitting at a computer looking at Twitch chat and talking back and forth to them. Now, I know Star Citizen's community is quite large, but the Star Citizen community that's actually engaging with you on Twitch is quite small. The Star Citizen community that's actually engaging with you in the Calling All Devs threads are quite small, and same with the YouTube videos. They're small, so they are not unmanageable, right? Even for one person, it's probably slightly unmanageable. But there's no way that, hey guys, subscribe to us. We need to step up our content. Well, if you want to step up your content, just fucking talk to us. That's where I'm at. Just communicate with us a little bit better. But real quick, Siberian, I'll let you go. There was a comment in Twitch chat, and I don't think he's calling in, and I think it's a really good thing, and I want to make sure that we say this, because this is a point of something that happened. They've always been less than communicative when it comes to bad news. They're quick to hype something new, but I feel their MO is to just let bad news hit, watch us burn the forums down, and let it slowly die out on its own. And that's from Mosher Gaming. Yes. And then Xylo came out with something on January 18th. It's the 27th right now, so about 10 days ago. He basically is responding to your comment there and says, "We absolutely agree, and I'm happy you called that out. To be entirely candid, we are just saying the same thing internally." This is talking about the 3.5 changes in the roadmap, salvaging going, and the lawful system going. And we recognize the positive. They want to be more communicative about this stuff. And they said, "Oh, we were going to do an ATV update about that, but then it didn't work with the schedule." And then it wasn't even there the following week. So yeah, the best RTV was when Xylo and Disco were on there explaining to us why OCS was removed. And you know what? It calmed down the community completely.
Yeah, so my dream format would really be maybe ATV once a month, but longer, maybe an hour.
Okay.
Putting the really juicy stuff in there, then maybe RTV like every 2 weeks, but really engaging directly to the community, as you said. Yeah. Then maybe we need a new format, like Welcome to the Verse or Welcome to Star Citizen, one that's directed at new players. And there you can put all the regular questions that come up every month. Because, I mean, they have to be answered again, because some new people haven't heard the answer yet. And I mean, that's the reason why they come up every time. So maybe put them into there, and then you would have a nice split. But I don't think that it's going to happen, and maybe it's not even the best for the game. So even if we hate it, maybe the weekly, more casual engagement that's going on currently, maybe that's still the best thing for the game. So in the end, the financials of the game matters, and the ship sets matters, and all that matters.
Absolutely.
And, so yeah.
Are you a subscriber?
I was a subscriber like 4 years ago.
Okay.
And then I realized that the game is not coming out before 2020, and then I stopped subscribing.
Yeah. Do you see the value in subscribing to Star Citizen at all? How do you feel about that?
I didn't see it like 4 years ago.
Mm-hmm.
They gave us more content now. I think if you so back then I got literally nothing. Right.
Yeah.
So, but now that you get a little bit more, and it's hard to say value of something if you pay 1,000 euros for a virtual starship. So, I think it's fine, but just being a subscriber for multiple years, while you still don't know when the game is coming out, it's a little bit insane.
I'm subscribed at the $10 level, and the only reason I do it is I like the cool little things that they give out. So I'm not actually subscribing to help their content. So for me, I subscribe because I like the little tidbits that they give. I think they're cool. But I don't see the point of giving them money to continue to try and make their content look cooler and buy expensive cameras and all these things that we really don't need. We don't need that. We just need you to talk to us. We need you to communicate with us. That's really it. Now, if I was to go anything different than what you would say, Siberian, is I would like the weekly update. And you could do so many things on a weekly update where I think the community managers should be playing the fucking game a little bit more, where a guy like Xylo plays all the time. Why not just do an update from the Austin office? Xylo playing the Evocati build. Xylo playing the game. Hopping in, playing, and having your own private server, whatever. Hopping in, playing, and showing what's coming. Play the dev build. Doesn't matter. You could show, hey guys, we're working on Lyria, or we're working on this. Like, here, check it out. I can walk around on the moon for a little while and show you guys the progress from this week to last. Like, little things like that is what happens in every other game's community updates. Every other games and community updates. And this is the only company that is like, it's got to be this beautiful fucking visuals before they can show it to us. It's ridiculous.
Yeah, but did you really like before the main events, there are these shows where they play the game, and sometimes they can't even play the game, or then there's issues and all these things.
Of course.
I mean,
but
we can watch Twerk or What the Fuckosaurus. We don't need.
Yeah, but you can't watch Twerk or What the Fuckosaurus play something that isn't in our hands yet, is what I'm saying. Yeah. Like, he can go into their dev branch and show, even if it's just a visual of something, he can go in the editor and show those things. Right?
They give us interesting stuff on a weekly basis. I don't think they can.
I still think they can, because there's many moving parts and many things being worked on, and the updates can be really small. But yeah, I don't know. I'll get the next caller in, Siberian, if you don't have anything else to say.
Thanks.
But yeah, it's I think we all have to agree that we're probably not pleased with the content currently. I mean, to give it a scale of 1 out of 10. Before I let you go, Siberian, what would you give their current community content? And yeah, 1 out of 10. What do you think?
It was a 4. I give it a 6 now.
Okay, I think 6 is pretty good. All right, I'm gonna drop you out, Siberian. Thank you so much for the call. I appreciate it, and I think you made some really solid points. All right, and our next caller is Tiz. Tiz, welcome to Answer the Call. How you doing?
Hey, nice to be on.
All right, man. So, what are your thoughts on the community content?
I think I can touch on a few of the topics that were mentioned. Maybe the first thing you said, almost sounding like a conspiracy theory about Squadron 42 being pushed now.
Well, I think it's pretty obvious, right? I don't think it's a conspiracy theory. Yeah, I think it just makes sense.
And it's also, for me, it's the main reason why they are taking so much time to not update the rest of the roadmap.
Yeah.
Because they're trying to prepare us for some kind of disappointment. Because it might be that there's not much more coming into 19 that is actually now on the roadmap. So, because they're pushing Squadron.
Yeah.
And I think if you look at the financials and the way the funding is going, it's pretty clear that they wouldn't focus Star Citizen in the MMO. So I'm okay with the development as it is. It's just it's going to be a hard year. I think a lot of people are very excited about 2.19, and I'm not sure yet whether I should be excited.
Well, I mean, we were definitely excited seeing what we had on the roadmap currently versus what we have on it now. Right? It's a little bit more disappointing now.
Yeah, I agree. I just don't understand, because they're so ambiguous. I don't understand some of the moves they make. So, for example, in one of the ATVs, Chris mentioned or was teasing Microtech and Horizon by the end of the year, and I don't understand this. Okay, we know it's Chris, but also other things like pushing all those little gameplay icons into 3.5 when they moved out salvage to try to mitigate the scandal was also a bit, but now none of those little things have even started and are only scheduled, so they will move out as well.
Yeah.
So I feel they need to just say nothing. That's That's my. I mean about the timeline at the moment.
Yeah, I agree, and I just think it's very obvious that I think 2019 is probably not going to be the year, and probably not even 2020 for the Star Citizen PU. I think we're going to be in, we're going to get new areas for sure. I think they'll keep, ArcCorp will come and Microtech will come and Orison probably won't. But I think we'll get those two areas. And then after that, it's more about polishing what's there and maybe bringing in one game mechanic like salvaging. Just remember that salvaging did leave the roadmap completely, but it's not really communicated to us what the fuck is happening with it. So it's very important that you don't just on Spectrum say what you say. Like everything that Tyler said and that Xylo on Spectrum really needs to be in and around the verse or a reverse the verse. And the fact that we haven't had one about what's going on with the roadmap is just it's just very poor management of us. And we're all freaking out and we're upset. Like, what's 2019 going to be? We have no idea. I think we'll understand what they want out of 2019 as soon as they update the roadmap. And I think it's very reasonable the amount of time they're taking to update the roadmap. But yeah, I think they need to just communicate with us more, man.
I agree, but I think it's also a bit of a vicious circle, and you saw it with the little gameplay things moving in.
Yeah,
that there is a certain expectation from the backer side. So even if they were to say like, okay, we internally know that that's what we're gonna be able to accomplish, they're gonna stuff 738 full of stuff they know that's gonna be moved out, because the outrage would just be too big if they released a realistic roadmap. So
yep.
I think there's only so much they can actually do communicating. Maybe it's just that.
But they're not doing any.
Yeah, but they try to start downscaling the expectations at the end of this year. Also with the road to release was of course. I agree.
Underwhelming.
It was a clusterfuck, but it was exactly this. It was downscaling the expectations for the release and preparing for a soft release and everything.
Yeah.
But I think they're going into the right direction with it, instead of just hyping everything.
I think the most important thing to do is to have the roadmap up to date all the time. So to never have a gap like we have right now. And that's fine. The roadmap was new last year, all those things. I think they really need to understand to never, ever have that gap that they have right now with the two spaces. Put whatever you need there, but put something there. It's going to change. We're going to get upset. If you get upset when things move in and out of a roadmap at this point, you have a problem that you need to look at yourself and work on, because that is just what happens now. If they use that roadmap to hype us up about certain things and to keep us excited like they always do, then that's a problem on their end. But I don't think that's what's happening. I've already spoken to what I think the roadmap is. I think the roadmap is their internal goal. I know the roadmap is their internal goals because they've said that. And they absolutely use their internal goals to push their developers to make the game as fast as possible. And we get disappointed when those goals are a little bit unrealistic, because they're always going to be slightly unrealistic because they're pushing. It's to push their guys. But when things move out, they need to be on top of it, and they need to communicate with us via their faces on a camera and a voice. And they need to communicate with us in a back and forth situation. So when you're on camera, it should be live, and you should be taking questions from us. And I think that's the best way to do it, because even if you feel a certain way and you can't be there live yourself, most likely a question will be asked that kind of hits what is important to you. But
I agree.
Yeah. I think RTV is the most important thing. And I don't think people like RTV that much. I think RTV is the most important thing, because the only time that they directly engage with us. The only time.
It's what comes closest to actual community content in the traditional sense.
Yes.
and maybe we can move away from the roadmap and to the updates and like the weekly schedule.
Okay.
And I kind of agree with CyberianK that they don't really have enough for a weekly ATV and a weekly RTV and a weekly answer to, or no, calling all devs. Yeah.
Yeah.
I understand why you'd like them, because you need content to talk about on stream. That's fine.
Yeah.
I also don't really agree about making it a month, but then saying, oh, yeah, it should be a month apart, so now it's 1 hour.
Yeah.
But that doesn't make sense to me. Either you have enough content and you can spread it out, or you just do 20 minutes a month. And I feel also that it stems a bit from the misconception we have that only if we ask some secret question, or if they just do more updates, there's just some hidden development progress that we're gonna unravel. I think some of the time there's just not anything more there, right? And also with the calling all devs, you saw it, I think, because the questions lately have just changed into somebody asking a question and they are like, no, not planned.
Yeah, I mean, they were lacking for sure. The calling all devs started getting worse, but the kind of reason for that is the questions that we ask. That one really falls on us. The questions that we ask and the questions that get upvoted, that shit's on us. Calling all devs started going downhill because of us, not because of Jared and not because of the devs. I think I think maybe they should scroll down a little bit more sometimes and ask questions that they can actually answer. But I just don't. I also don't understand the point of asking a question on calling all devs that at least that often that can't be answered. I think it does make sense to ask a question that can't be answered, because that is answering the question at times, you know. Yeah. But I think Sheriff in Twitch chat is right. Calling all devs is so criminally underused by us. That one is our fault.
Yeah, but it's not gonna magically create content or progress or anything if we ask the right question. Yeah, I feel like that's just. I think the format is dead. I don't want to see calling all devs in 2.19.
Okay.
I want to scrap.
I don't really disagree with you either. Just for a second here before we continue on, guys, we do have a few more spots if you guys want to call in. So you can join in on the Discord. You can type in !Discord in Twitch chat if you're here live watching, and you can join in on the show and share your opinions on the community content and what you would like to see from the future, okay? Yeah, but anything else, Tiz, before we move on?
Yeah, maybe also just because of the marketing aspect.
Yes.
And I think, I mean, it's clear that they need to sell ships. Because, I mean, it's just nothing is free. And for myself, I am subscribed. And I like the subscription because it gives me the feeling of supporting the game without making it a ship sale. And what I feel they could try to do a bit better is to detangle the marketing from the community management. So have guys to market and not have Disco or Silo market ship sales or answer for questions about ship sales or defend ship sales.
It's so hard though. I like wholeheartedly agree with you, but it's so how, because when a ship comes out, like, okay, what are the ships that we expect for 2019? Like, well, I expect some industrial ships, I guess is the best way to say it. Ships that run cargo, ships that salvage, like those kinds of ships. That's what I expect for 2019. We'll be excited about that. We want to find how it works. We want to find out how those ships work, what they look like, all that stuff, right? But the problem with that is that's marketing too. And it's community managed, it's in community engagement, and it is marketing. So I agree with you. I just wish they weren't so much time spent on the marketing of it, because I don't know if all that time they spend on it is worth it. Right? Putting out a nice video, okay. But putting out like 2 weeks of content on a single ship is I'm
Don't
bored.
misunderstand me. They need to do marketing. I mean, it's a company. It's not your friend from down the street.
Yeah, of course.
But the only thing that it does for me is it antagonizes the community managers for me. Then I just see them shilling or selling stuff, and then I don't really feel like because I mean, ideally, like you feel like the community manager is sort of part of the community, right? So he understands you.
But do these community managers feel like part of the community to you?
No. They're
That's
salesmen.
the problem, right? They're salesmen.
Yeah.
Xylo's the only one that doesn't feel like a salesman.
And they don't do anything for the community. Nobody cares about Gladius.
Oh, Tiz, I'm losing you. I'm losing you. Talk again?
Hello?
You're good. You're good. You were a little robotic there for a second. Nobody cares about the Gladius Valiant, you were going to say, right?
Yeah. I mean, I care about it because it's my favorite chip, but about the free fly. And that's maybe my last point, and afterwards I can go.
Okay.
I don't feel they do actually anything for the community content-wise because it's just marketing they do, but they don't. For example, it would be something if they would organize a Daymar rally, right? But that's not us. That's us or the community and not them.
I disagree. I think it's good. Here's one of the best things. I think that's one of the best things that they've done. The Daymar rally has been organized. They are a fantastic group of people, and they've done something really great. And CIG is promoting that event. That's cool. Yeah, that's community engagement.
They just have been leeching off the content that the community is creating for them. So
that's fair. I mean, they're filling ATV with community content, right? Like, what would you say? 1/3 of the ATVs is us at this point, and is that a good thing or a bad thing? The other stuff is, make a ship commercial for us with screenshots and do these things, and the same fucking guy wins every time because he, it's.
And the third thing is like showing your children on stream, but
so what?
Now because,
come on.
Yeah.
I think that's a little out of line. I think that's them showing them. That's them showing themselves and their lives and actually being normal people. Like you don't want them to be marketers, right? Well, they had their kids show up on stream on a video and it's showing that they're a human being and not just using us to make money sometimes. So I don't disagree with that one. I think you're out of line in that sense, but that's fine. It's your opinion.
All
right, Tiz. I love you, man. I'll talk to you soon. See you on the next one. All right, and our next one is Timbur. Timbur. Let me get the name fixed here. Boom. Timbur, you are on Answer the Call. Welcome, Timbur. So what are your thoughts about the community content? Good morning, man. How are you?
Well, I'm not sure. I'm just really trying to listen and kind of understand the topic here. It sounds like you're kind of from the perspective of the community, and we're kind of upset a little bit about the lack of community content, and then
or the type
you're kind of proposing.
I think more it's, for me personally, it's the type of community content. I think a lot of the community is upset right now, this moment, at the lack of community content because we've only had ATV and they've been underwhelming ATVs. How many fucking times am I going to see what ArcCorp looks like? How many times am I going to see them make the deadest looking moon I've ever seen in my life? And I'm supposed to be excited about that stuff. I'm not, and I'm never going to be. How many times am I going to see, hey guys, the female skeleton is really hard to do animations for, like it's just boring at this point. So it's time for a shift, and it's time for us as a community to share what we don't like and maybe what we would like to see. So that's the point of today's show. That's the topic. What don't you like, and what do you want to see from them in the future, right?
Yeah, I think I kind of want to bring up what you were talking about as far as like community content from us, the community. I think this is something I really enjoy, like what you're doing here, the Answer the Call. imagine if they did something like that, or even like reached out to more Twitch streamers like yourself or other Twitchers, you know, just to kind of get the community involved. I mean, maybe this kind of solution. But,
I don't understand why they couldn't organize something like what we, like, for those of you guys that don't know, we organized like this little cargo competition this morning and Timbur was involved. And, you know, I think the game kind of is almost there. I think maybe they're waiting for it a little bit to get a little bit more fleshed out before they start doing stuff like that, if they plan at all. But I agree with you.
Yeah, I like that idea of kind of playing the game with the guys. I mean, remember, I think of the one RTV, do you recall when basically Jared put a bounty on Jeremiah, the art thing? And that was fantastic. I mean, it showed that, yeah, there's a lot of broken systems, like ramming ships at...
Who cares?
You know? Yeah, but that was fantastic. Just imagine if they did something like that every week.
Yeah.
Or, you know, once a month, where they say, okay, we're going to do this mission here, and we're going to get as many guys on board we can. Because fill up a server, 50 guys, you know, and do something. That'd be awesome. Like the other thing, Rexzilla is another good streamer. Like, he gets 50 guys on constantly and is, you know, playing the game with them.
Yeah.
I imagine somebody like
they wouldn't have
do the same thing.
And they wouldn't have any trouble doing it. And they can have their own server and be protected from whatever problems they can run into with people being mean, so on and so forth, right? For me, I'd like to see more of the traditional community. Like, they don't need to do anything different than what other companies do, because they do it well. There's no reason why I mean, there may be reasons because the bills may not be good or whatever, but I just don't see why they can't show us more of what's in development now. I see it from so many other companies. This is in development, and show it live, or show it in a more... it doesn't have to be so polished all the time. It could just be a video. Hey guys, we have this video on what's coming, and it could literally be Jared just playing around with it and showing it. You know? I don't understand why it has to be this production. And then we need money for subscribers to make this production. Why? You're not making a movie. Nobody cares. Just show us the game, man. We only care about the game we want to play. We don't need to see these beautiful cinematics. Do we get excited by them sometimes? Yeah, but now I think we're getting bored of it. Personally, at least I am. So I don't know. I do agree with you that they should be getting in the game and playing the game more.
Yeah, that sounds pretty cool. I mean, because like imagine like ATV. So you're saying like get rid of ATV and just do a more transparent thing. Is that what you're...
Yeah, I think it's okay to do like what everybody's kind of proposing is do a true ATV once a month. Update us on all these really fantastic things that are being worked on. Show it to us once. I don't need to see the progress of Lyria or some moon in ArcCorp from one week to the next, because it doesn't progress that fast, right? And it's just not exciting. But if I saw a month's worth of progress, and that's three ATVs before a release of the actual patch, right? Because it's about 3 months in between. I think we get a decent amount of cool updates, and then in between, just a communicative update with a community manager, a visual and voice update with a community manager. Hey, man. Hey, guys, this is what's going on. Cool. Okay. And then, hey, I have a question, Jared. How's my prospector coming along, or whatever ship is coming along? Oh, well, you know, it's being worked on by this dev in this studio. Oh, great. Awesome. Like, what's wrong with that? What is so fucking hard about that, too? I don't know. I think we would be pretty pleased. You know, but that's me. That's my opinion. I mean, would you be okay with that?
Yeah, I kind of like that. I mean,
okay.
Well, I mean, I kind of like what they're doing too. I mean, I actually really like calling all devs. You know, I think that's a fantastic user forum. You know, usually get to submit an question, and then Jared always answers them. You know.
Yeah. And if he can't answer it, he can, you know, come back and for the next week and have a list of things that he needed to reach out to people for, and then run down that list at the start of RTV. Right? Okay, guys, you asked about this ship. I went out and reached to the guy. They said they're not working on it right now, but it should be scheduled pretty soon. Great. Thanks, Jared. Appreciate it. Next, you know? That's what we want. We just want to know what's going on. We want to get excited about the things that we're excited about. That's it. And you can do that very easily by telling us what's coming and how you want to do it. Right? Anything else, Timbur, before I let you go?
Well, you have to admit, too, so coming from the community as well, right? It seems like maybe the community in general is pretty volatile, right? If something bad news happens, you know, people jump on it really quick and
because they feel like investors. It's because they feel like they're investors, and they're not. But that's how we feel. I feel that way too, you know? Yeah. And that's the thing, is they need to communicate. Even though we are not investors, they have to understand that we feel like we're investors. We're a lot of years in, a lot of money in, a lot of us are. I think the people that are directly engaged and that are watching Around the Verse and Reverse the Verse, I think those are the people that likely have a decent amount of money into the project, and they feel like an investor. Now, we may not feel like we're an investor that deserves a dividend at the end of the year or something like that, but like Aliciana says in Twitch chat, we are invested emotionally, and they have to recognize that. And whenever things change, that we're gonna feel like it's a dagger in our heart. And is it fair that we feel that way? Should we feel that way? Probably not. But we do, and we always will, because we're passionate. They always talk about how passionate we are, how great we are. But then when it comes down to when we're giving them shit about the things that are upsetting, then we're out of line sometimes, and that we're too passionate, or we don't want to upset you, so we didn't show this stuff. We don't want to update you just yet because we don't want to upset you, and all those things. It's like, it's not going to upset us if you just communicate, you know?
Yeah, so I will say one more thing too. I think
no problem.
As far as like community content, the best thing we can do is create community content for ourselves, like streaming, you know.
Yeah, but it really does need to come from them. You can get community content yourself, but the thing about that is it goes back to Tiz's, or I can't remember who, the Siberian, I think, was the first one that said the most important thing is the game, right? And it's and to make sure that the game does well. No offense to any other streamers out there. This includes the biggest ones and the biggest YouTubers and all that stuff. But they're not bringing in the numbers that CIG's just general website or Around the Verse and all those things bring new players in. There's no way. They have the most reach. So they have to do the best. Right? They have to push the community content. After that, that's when you find streamers and then actually engage and find a community yourself. Right? But the number one community always has to be the Star Citizen community as a whole. And that has to be cultivated. And right now, it's just being left to rot, is how I feel in a lot of times, especially when something bad happens. We're just left there to stew for a while. And then we get upset about things. You know what I mean?
So, yeah, I'm just wondering from our perspective. So, okay, we're in the community. What do we do to help them out, right? Like you're Jared. What would you want the community guys to do to help you out, you know, to do this, to connect to the community, you know, create this content that they want?
No, I don't think we should have to do anything for them. I think they just need to communicate with us. We're there. We're already the best community in the world.
Sure.
There is no better community, video gaming community, than this one. I don't think anybody that's involved with this project would disagree. People are diehard fans. People are constructively critical. And then there's a few stragglers that are obnoxious, but there's very, very few of those people. They're just kind of loud, but there's very few of them, right? Overall, this community is incredible.
No,
Overall, this community is incredible. So we shouldn't have to do anything. They just need to bring us in. We're sitting there begging to be communicated with. And just let us in. That's it, right? But all right, Timbur, I'm going to let you go, and I'm going to bring in the next caller because we're starting to get a bit of a list here.
Thank you.
Thank you. Anytime, man. Hopefully we'll have you on another show soon. All right, man. Talk to you soon. All right, and our next caller is, I can't say this name, Estecles, I think. Estecles. I believe is the name. We're gonna get him in here. Am I saying it right?
You are saying it right.
Testicles.
No, you're not. It's Estecles or Estecles. I used Estecles when I went to my email is, and I said Estecles was
Dude,
like this
what are you
Greek god.
You just fucking said your email in front of
Oh,
millions
my
of
gosh.
people.
It really is my middle school email. I don't care. People can spam it. I don't really care.
I'll edit it out. Okay.
No, you really don't have to. But
It's okay.
if you feel better, that's
I will.
fine.
I will. I'll censor it. Don't worry.
Sorry about that. I
Okay.
don't mean to give you more work.
Oh, it's not. It's nothing. It's pretty funny though.
I've never broadcasted anything before, so sorry. I'm
Yes.
not used to this.
Yeah. What's your social security? No, I'm just kidding.
I'm just that gullible. But no, man, you are right on the money when it comes to like this is. I think first of all, there's a direct contradiction with the type of marketing that you have to do for a community funded game like this, where you get to be a part of the process and play the alpha and all that, and the kind of traditional style of marketing that Chris Roberts wants to do in terms of like building hype for a couple years and slowly releasing trailers and stuff like that.
Yeah.
They're not really compatible.
Yeah.
And like he wants to build this groundswell of hype for Squadron 42, but we want to see what the hell it looks like, or like any progress at all besides trailers and besides that live stream. Was that 2 years ago now? Technically, yeah. That was December of 2017, wasn't it? So man, like there's that super contradiction between like, okay, so the only reason you got our money was because we are going to be able to be a part of this process, and he just got this investment of money that, and I will just say real quick, I don't think all of that is going towards marketing. I think a percentage of that is going to go towards marketing. I think a lot of that is going to help finish the game. That's my opinion. Just I have a degree in finance.
Don't send him an email,
sorry.
boys. Don't send him an email about it, okay? That's his opinion, but don't send him an email.
But I think he wants to do this campaign, and we want to see the game, and to build like if you did a Division style live stream, like the Division did in 2015, then the game comes out in 2016 or 17, whenever it did, that built hype. But we weren't able to play the game. We didn't see like more of the game than that. But that was just like a sneak preview, whereas we want to play it. We don't want to just see parts, and we want to see exactly how it looks and feels before I guess we play or buy. I guess anybody who's on the fence, who's following the game, which I doubt there are many people. But yeah, there's just a huge disconnect with the type of marketing that you need to do, that he wants to do, and like keep things under wraps, and the type of marketing that we want, which is, like you said, we just want to play. We want to play the game. We want to see the game. We want to see ships at the very least. We want to see mechanics. And I mean, I went on to I saw this video of Squadron 42. It was the dark corners of the internet, and it was this just like a little bit of gameplay on Dailymotion, where you got to see like 10 minutes of Squadron 42, but it looked awful. Yeah, I mean, like all the textures were off. It didn't look like a game, and I think that's what he's concerned about, is just these people getting to see it truly in development. Like that's how it looks in development, with just like textures,
gray box
have
and no textures,
and all
yeah.
gray box, and so I think that's his nightmare. He doesn't want people to actually see what a true pre-alpha looks like, whereas we actually, I would like to see that. I would like to see at least an Orion maybe functioning in gray box. That's what I own.
Me too.
Or
very excited for that
like,
one.
Totally, just like the laser operating or something to that effect, or maybe just, I don't know. The ATVs cover some of this stuff where it just shows little snippets of like certain mechanics in play.
But yeah, you can't communicate with ATV. So like, wouldn't it be so great if when a ship sale is ready to happen, that like Jared and maybe the artist is there, but more likely what would be great is the ship designer be there and they show it off, right? Okay, we're showing it off. It's doing this. Like, I'm sorry, I love some of the artists, but the artists can't answer the design questions that are gonna get asked in the Q&A that they get wrong every time they do a Q&A for these ships, right? They get them wrong, and it's a mess. So the actual ship designer, get them on there if you need. If not, Jared can go back and ask the question to the ship designer and respond to it in like a post-mortem for RTV or whatever that week, and then has all those questions answered, right? But you have that ship there, you're playing with it, you're showing it,
Right.
hey, what do you guys think about this? Blah, 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 blah. And it's great, you know? Salvaging's coming soon, right? Show it in its infancy a little bit. Are we thinking about doing this? What do you guys think? We saw scanning the golf ball mechanic and everybody freaked out. Perfect. That's great. Nobody liked it. Don't do it. Right? That's what you need.
I honestly just think these things are not really even close, and I think they would actually show some of this stuff if it was even sort of close. But I for whatever reason, I think things move very, very slowly at CIG. And I had this frustration when I was really, really into League of Legends and following Riot's every update.
Yeah.
And I was just like, dude, there are like straight up broken mechanics in this game still. Can we, you're a multi-billion-dollar company at this point. Can we attend to these things? Maybe just hire a few more people or something, or redirect some resources. There were certain like gameplay elements that were just broken. And it was like, okay, what are we actually spending time on? You just released like 50 skins this month or year or whatever. Can we not, like, I know artists aren't programmers, but can we not, spend more money or something on this area to fix these things? I don't know why it moves so slow. I'm kind of like terrified that the Cry engine, just that choice back in 12, 13, is going to just, that progress is just going to be so slow that they're not going to be able to make enough progress for us to be satisfied in terms of week to week showing us stuff, because maybe it's just I don't know, just the fundamentals of the engine. And I know it's moved to Lumberyard, but just the fundamentals of the old assets are just too broken down, and it takes too much time to work on these things.
I think the problem is, and it's not a problem, it's just this. It's just where we are now. I think we have to respect the fact that it's the most ambitious game. They chose the engine they chose. And a lot of the stuff visually, they probably would have not been able to do if they didn't choose that engine. Okay?
Totally.
So we agree with that, right? With that said, they have to make tool after tool after tool to be able to automate this thing and make this thing happen. Tools are not fucking interesting to us. They are worthless to us in terms of their community content, in terms of having something to discuss.
Yeah.
Right? But that's the stage we're at right now. They're just making these tools to make the game in an efficient manner, and that is boring.
Right. Yeah.
So they have to take the little bits of things that aren't tools and just give us more and be more engaging with us with them. That's all I'm asking. I'm not asking for this great grand plan. If anything, I'm asking them to do so much less, but do more with that less, and engage with us. And I don't think I'm in the wrong here, you know?
No. I would rather see an ATV a month if it had really substantive content in it. Something that, or if they had like a stream a week, a Q&A stream where they just answered questions. I think you had mentioned this too.
Yeah.
About either the game or mechanics with the person that would be actually doing making those things. Like maybe just okay, we're gonna have like a certain ships Q&A or a certain mechanics Q&A, salvage Q&A. I think that would be helpful just to get almost like you're reading a book instead of watching a video, so you get like some just information, and then maybe once a month you show us something visually. We get to see something new, because like ArcCorp looks good, but I've seen that a few times and it's kind of the same angle, and I'm not really seeing anything new. And
I mean, how many
I'm
times are you going to
sure-
show me gray buildings? You know, like,
yeah, they're yeah, and also like, can you just skin those really quickly, or is that really hard? I guess
I don't know. I'm
that's
sure it's really hard.
difficult.
Yeah.
Yeah, that's.
I don't think anything they're doing is easy, and I think we all respect that and understand that part.
Absolutely,
But just like, don't put shit out there just to put it out there. It's stupid.
Right. Yeah.
But all right, testicles.
Sorry.
I'm just kidding. Do you have anything else you want to add before? Because I got what do we got? We got 3 more callers that we got to get in.
I just wanted to drop like my birth name and my other email addresses.
Perfect. Your bank account number, your PIN, and we're good to go, buddy. We're good to go.
Yeah. And I just want to kiss your ass real quick. You do a great job, dude. And yeah,
Thank
you're
you.
just really concise and clear, and you have great sound equipment. That's a big deal
Do
in
I?
this kind of content. So
I actually have
Yeah,
really
well, I think
shitty
so.
sound equipment. So,
Really?
well,
Well, you
not
sound
really
good.
shitty. As far as like what most streamers spend on their sound equipment, I am at the very
Okay,
bottom.
Well,
I have
yeah,
a
well,
free
I mean,
mixer
yeah.
that is all done. It's called Voice Meter Banana. It's completely free, and I just have my microphone.
Okay.
That's it. I have spent like
well, it's solid.
$100 on my sound equipment.
Wow, it works great, really.
Yeah.
And just the whole package is really solid.
Well, I'm gonna kiss your ass a little bit. You have a beautiful voice.
Well, thank you.
Yes. All right, man.
Thanks, man. All right.
I'll let you
much
go.
love.
Talk to you
Thank
later.
you, sir. All right.
All right, next caller is IDD. IDD, welcome to Answer the Call, man. What's up?
Hello. What's up?
IDD, you have a beautiful voice too. I don't want you to feel bad, okay?
Thank you.
Yeah. So what's up? What do you think about the community content?
Oh boy.
Here we go. All right, Monka S, boys.
No. Starting with something positive for a change. I think calling all devs was a win.
Yes.
Of
I think
course,
it's
there are
our
some
fault that it wasn't
questions-
good.
Yeah, it could have been better, but they also skipped some really good questions for weeks and months,
Yeah.
right? Regarding Squadron 42, and there, I think Lando picks the questions, and he's pretty selective at times, I feel.
Yeah.
Sometimes for the good, sometimes for the bad, I think.
Agreed. And just because you don't have an answer doesn't mean you can't quickly go, hey guys, I see you guys are asking about the Squadron 42 roadmap. We'll give you an update on it soon. We're just not ready to show it yet. Okay, cool.
Yeah,
I mean,
agree.
but ignoring us is not the answer ever.
I mean, he addressed it regarding the Squadron 42 roadmap question, but like 4 or 5 weeks
4 or 5
later.
weeks later than when it was the top post.
Yeah, for weeks.
Not good.
That's terrible.
Yeah.
But calling our devs, yeah. I mean, some of the questions aren't at the top of my list, but there are also the good and few questions in between.
Yeah.
And what I mostly like, I feel we get the right devs to answer the question. So we get really detailed answers, and I like it. I like the show.
Okay, but
Also good.
with that said, I think with development needing to move, I think we're going to get the constant, the same kind of response that we get from them pretty regularly, which is, well, we don't want to take away from development time. So your community content's going to get worse and worse and worse, you know? And it has. I mean, over the years, we had this super engaging content to, you know, these crazy videos, but they still had, you know, lots of dev time on screen. I feel like we're going to get less overtime, and I think we should be getting less overtime. So like with you saying getting the right dev to answer the question, would you be comfortable with getting the right dev to answer the question, but it in a written statement maybe from Jared, like, hey, I sent a Skype message over to whomever about this thing. He answered back with this. Would you be cool with that? I would be cool with that because I think it's much simpler than getting a guy on camera, sitting down, fucking makeup on. Oh, he's got to be on his lunch break. We got to get him at this right time. Oh, I couldn't get him this week. If you send a simple message, he just sends the message back. It's answered, and then the answer goes through Jared. I think we get a lot more questions answered, and I think we get a lot more engagement. It just Jared has to be the middleman.
But I think if you have some controversial statements, you might be thinking he's just making shit up. So I actually want to hear it from the actual dev who's working on that exact same thing.
Okay.
Or at least somebody.
I do too. I do too. I just
team
don't know if it's realistic
who knows.
anymore. Is what I think it may not be realistic anymore. Because they really need to put their nose down and make the game. The developers, not a single one of those developers signed up to market this fucking game. Okay? None of them. And I don't think it's fair to ask them to. And when you have them asking questions from the community, I feel like if they're not doing it willingly on their own time, then they're, you know, like obviously for those of you that watch my Twitch stream, Luke Presley's here pretty regularly. He does it. He uses our community and our opinions and asks us questions about what we think about things for his work, right? He's not here on his day off because he enjoys it or something like that. He uses it for his work. He sees how we're doing the missions and what improvements he can make to them, things like that. But if they're not doing it on their own time and they're being forced to do it, which it feels like they are, I mean, I don't think John Crew wants to be there to answer questions. Like, I think he's a dry kind of guy, but when it comes to things, John Crew doesn't want to be on calling all devs every week. He wants to do his work and go home, like all of us do, right?
Yeah, I agree. I was just pointing out an edge case.
Yeah, of course,
which
of course.
Could
like with in an edge case, you mean like something like, oh my god, this epic thing happened. Let's get this guy on here to talk about it. It'd be really cool.
Yeah, right.
Okay.
What I'm actually missing is ATV has been quite the disappointment to me.
Yes.
And if I'm not mistaken, they've switched the format to be more for new backers.
It feels that way. Yeah.
Yeah. But ATV, for me at least, was always a mix of show and tell. We have a lot of tell now with calling all devs, but very little show.
Yep.
I feel. But that's probably because I'm not as ship-centric as others at this point in development, and half of the ATVs, I feel like ships all the time.
It's marketing. Yeah.
Yeah, I just would love to see new things and progress, like just show me part of a prototype. How would salvage look like?
Yeah.
What are the ideas, like with a gold spring mechanic? That's something that would interest me, and I'm not sure why the devs have to record the footage of what they're working.
I just don't know why Jared couldn't show it to us live sometimes.
Yeah.
You know,
just over the
if a dev can
camera,
record it,
maybe.
yeah, like Jared can just be there doing it. He shouldn't need anyone helping him. I think, and if he does need the help, then I think maybe the focus for him this year should be getting more comfortable with that stuff. And, you know, maybe it won't be so great at the beginning of the year, but by the end of the year, Jared will be in the editor, messing around, doing all sorts of cool stuff. I mean, I really think, I don't know where Tyler Witken's role is anymore, but we know Tyler Witken was in QA, and I know he knows his way around the game, and I think he would really fit, you know, in this that role of showing us the game.
I mean, he did something like that in the past, like the trailer for the 2.6 patch was from him, I think.
Yeah. Yeah, man.
Oh, well.
I don't know. Anything else you want to add?
Yeah, lastly, I hate when Sandy posts Star Citizen content on her personal fucking social media. So to me, that's not professional. Just put it on the official channels.
That is a thing that happened a long time ago, and I shared that opinion, and it's never going to change, obviously. So, it bothered me more.
That shouldn't be an excuse.
Okay, that's fine. It bothered me more when it seemed like Sandy was less involved in the project and more involved in being an actress, and I think Sandy is 100% all in on Star Citizen. So it doesn't really, to me, it doesn't bother me. But I see where you're coming from.
Yes, because why, if I want to get updates on the game or anything new, like a little sneak peek or whatever, why should I follow her personal social media?
I agree.
Doesn't make sense.
I agree. Those tweets should be on the Star Citizen Twitter.
Yes.
Right? You're not going to get any disagreement with that, but you're never going to see that change, I don't think.
Probably.
Yeah. Just if it's been that way for 4 years, I don't see it changing, you know? But all right, man.
Yeah, exactly.
Let's bring in our next caller. But before we go, IDD, thank you. And I want to give you a chance. Is there anything else? Because I usually say that, and you made your last point, but I don't know if there was anything else. Okay. Okay, cool.
Bye, guys.
Bye. See you soon. All right, our next caller is ATPBX1. ATPBX1. I missed the P when filling out his name for his title on the thing. There we go. Let me get this ready and on there, boys. Sorry that this is a bit of a pain in the butt to do before bringing on the callers. ATPBX1, what's up, man? You're on Answer the Call.
How you doing, Twig? You all right?
Good, good. How are you?
Not so bad, not so bad.
All right.
My opinion on the community content is that they've thrown everything at it over the years.
Yeah.
And nothing's really stuck, has it?
No.
They've tried MVP, they've tried interviewing streamers, they've tried hour-long videos, they've tried 10-minute videos, and nothing's really settled because I think back in the early days, there was so much theory crafting around the project that there was hours of content to talk about, wasn't there? You know, you asked them about mining, they could go off on half-hour-long diatribes about how this could work, how this was a possibility, how maybe the spaceship would do this, that, and the other. But now they're actually coming down to implementing the mechanics. There's not so much to actually talk about, is there?
Yeah.
You know, and I think they're just finding it difficult to aggregate what they have got into something that we'll actually be interested in. If that makes sense.
Well, absolutely, it makes 100% sense. It's because the game holds itself on its own 2 feet now. It doesn't have to be us guessing what's going to happen or them guessing what's going to happen and us asking questions about what we think are going to happen. But with that said, you know, we don't know how salvaging is going to work. We don't know how exploration is truly going to work. There's still lots of mechanics that aren't there, and there's lots of theory crafting, even with like a dev diary or something like that on it, where you can ask questions and you can engage in them. I think they just need to focus on some certain things that are coming in the next little bit and engage with us about them. What do we think about them? What would you like to see change? I mean, they obviously, patches come out and they make changes to those patches. Why not engage with us in what our thoughts are now and go, oh, you know what, that makes sense, and make the changes before they even get to us, you know?
Well, yeah. I mean, I don't think RTV used to be like it, but I like how Digital Extremes have their community shows.
And I'm not sure who that is. What does Digital Extreme make?
They make Warframe.
Warframe. Oh, okay, yeah. Okay.
Manager, and you'll get the game directors, and then you'll get maybe a couple of heads of department, and they'll have an hour-long or an hour-and-a-half long stream, and they'll preview what's coming up in the next build and what they're currently working on.
Yep.
But during that time, it's completely open to ask the people that actually make the decisions and create the game and are steering the game the questions that you want answered, you know, and they'll pick them, and then the stuff that they can answer, they'll answer, and the stuff that they can't, or the stuff that they're pushing back, they'll actually tell you, and it'll come from the people who are making the decisions.
And you don't have it, and you don't have it filtered by, well, oh, we can't answer that, oh, we can't do that through Jared or through these people. Like, if it comes on Chris's, like if Chris is just standing there and it comes in front of Chris and he feels like answering it, let him.
Yeah, you know? Exactly that. I mean, it's not as if you have that once a month and get rid of all the trash. That's basically, it's I mean, things like Ask the Devs now is worthless. ATV for what they show is I mean, this week's ATV just gone was garbage. It might as well not bothered. You know, I like the two guys who make it, but they might as well not bother turning up and just left it blank because they weren't really interested in doing it. It was a joke, and it wasn't a funny joke either. But if they got rid of that and just had a proper hour-long, once a month, ask the people that matter show, they could release highlight videos or work in progress videos during the week at any time, you know. But actually, when it came to real, worthwhile communication with the community, if they had the people there that mattered, just for that time, you get so much more value out of it than what they currently do.
Yep, I agree.
So that's where I am with that. I mean, one of my other bugbears at the minute is how they handle ship sales at the moment, or how they have been handling ship sales at the moment, specifically, and you touched on it earlier, which was the Q&As.
Yep.
Now, if you remember a couple of years ago...
They're a disaster. Oh my God, the Q&As.
They are a disaster. If you remember a couple of years ago, they were giving us heads up on when ships were coming and when concept sales were coming. They'd give you a price. There was no surprises. They'd give you a price and what it was.
So you can prepare yourself, because they're expensive.
Exactly. They're exactly. I mean, when you're trying to sell somebody a $300 or $400 spaceship,
then I wouldn't leave work early, and I would stay at work a little bit longer so I can afford it.
Exactly. You know, you don't want to be caught. You know, if you might be something you really, really want. You know, since they've taken away and I know it's not important to some people, but since they've taken away the LTI for credit sales, it's become more and more important because lots of people are not going to spend $500 or $600 on a spaceship and not have that little trinket of LTI next to it. But if you tell them the day it's released, here we go, is a $600 spaceship, congratulations.
Figure it out.
You know, figure it out. No, because I've got car payments to make. I've got mortgage payments to make. I might want a new phone. I need a new TV. You know, if you know it's coming, but more importantly than that, if you gave them a heads up what it is, what the concept's going to be, and then open up the Q&A before that, the questions come in, the Q&A is answered and ready on the day, so that people don't have to wait till the end of the month when they've probably already bought it or might have a day left to bought it.
Oh my God, you hit it so spot on. You hit it so spot on with the ship sales. Should I not know right away before I'm buying the ship? Like as I'm getting my money together to buy a ship, especially if they're expensive, should I not know how it compares to another ship that I'm comparing it to? Should I not know, okay, well, these engines are better than this and than this ship and the other? Of course we should.
Where does it fit in what I've got already? How does it compare to this? I mean, the Kraken was a prime example. They show the video of it destroying ships left, right, and center. It's a $1,650 spaceship. They don't tell you exactly how it's going to be sold. They do that wave sale thing, which was incredibly poorly communicated.
Yeah. Let me interrupt you real quick because there's some confusion. Let me interrupt you real quick because somebody in Twitch chat said Q&A after the sale ends is pure silliness. It's never after the sale ends. How the ship sales work now are concierge gets a day early, but they don't have a ton of information on the ship, so they aren't like, for whatever reason, there's not an advantage to doing it. It's just they give it to them early because they buy a bunch of ships anyway. So here you go, just buy it without knowing anything about it, basically. You know a bit, but not a ton. Then on the actual sale day, you get the actual sale with a little bit more information, and then you get the Q&A once the questions come in about it. And there's still time to buy the ship during the release of the Q&A. So you get your answers, but the sale still typically goes on during, like, when a QA post is up there. But still,
they're running a month. They're running a month now, aren't they? As opposed to where they used to run a week.
Yeah.
I still think it holds. It holds though, because a lot of the time those Q&As, they're not landing week 1. They're not landing week 2. You might be lucky if you get them at the beginning of the last week. But even so, it's still, this is something that, what is it? What are we buying? What am I saving up for? I mean, there's not many, well, I don't think there's many people out there who can throw $500 or $600 at spaceships. Now, we're few and far between, I think. And if you're expecting us to keep going, then give us the information up front. What is it? Where are you planning it to be? What's the mechanic it's going to be looking at? And then give us the chance to put the money by for it. You know?
Yeah.
That's where I am with it.
Yeah, I agree.
But it's just for me, I think that overall with the community content. They whether they don't want to put the senior people in front of the camera or not, is they're just struggling to find a format that's worthwhile, because these little trickling, the 5 minute, 10-minute shows they're doing aren't really worth the time at all, because they don't give us any meaningful discussion, any meaningful input. And this voting up of questions, it's like, do you remember right at the start, every question about a spaceship was, does it have a jump drive?
Yeah.
Does it have a quantum drive? Does it have a toilet? Does it have a bed? And people are asking this about everything, and it's not the same questions, but it's the same thought process with the questions. The same questions are being asked about the same things every single week, and that's been answered last week. It's a different answer to the same question, just worded slightly differently. We get the same answer, because,
just
like you said, we're not asking the right
as Jared, just reply to the question and say, see the this page here, and link it to them. Pretty simple.
Exactly. So that's where I am with it anyway. I think they could do it a whole lot better, and I would rather see the senior decision makers give us an hour a month where we can actually ask them, what you're doing.
Yeah.
Not pre-recorded, what's going on, and
if they don't live, because you have multiple studios, if they don't live in America, then have them on a Skype call.
Yeah, exactly.
Exactly.
That's where I am with it.
All right, man. All right, I'm gonna let you go. Thank you so much, ATPVX. Appreciate it, buddy.
Thank you.
Bye now. All right, and our final caller is ASN. ASM, welcome.
Hello, Twerk. How are you doing?
Good, and you?
I was a bit under the weather, but I'm recovering, so I'm
glad you're feeling better. Glad you're feeling better, man.
Yeah, it's I have some opinions on this, and somebody said this already, that they've been changing their community strategy and engagement for ever since the project began, pretty much.
Into marketing the entire time.
Yeah, everything. And I mean, the reason is I think there's a fundamental core struggle with community. I mean, it's two things. Marketing is one, and community interaction is another. Marketing to the community or outside the community differs in how it is.
Yeah.
But the issue is, this game is such a broad game, and everybody has a different appeal they find inside it. So in comparison to more focused games, it's much harder to create a community engagement plan where you have the majority of the community interested in it.
Yeah.
And the reason why I say this is because, again, there are a lot of different things that people like about this game, and there's still not a single unifying core structure. You could argue that the ships are, but even ships have different tastes and flavors.
Yeah, I don't care about them, period. So talk to me about gameplay. That's all I care about. Game designer.
Yeah, that is.
But that's me.
That is. Yeah, that's you again. And that's the problem, right? I mean, so what are you going to focus on? I mean, it's either you look at the entire thing and be like, okay, so we have this part of the community who wants gameplay mechanics. We have this part of the community who wants these different kind of cool looking ships. We have this part of the community who wants to see new areas. That's why it's been held back and forth, and it's been changing so much. And then on top of that, I think the other issue is they want to appeal to new players as the game's coming along better.
Yeah.
But then the old backers who have been keeping track of this every day since for the past 6 years are feeling like they're losing the content they had been getting, which is the 45-50 minute ATVs and whatnot.
Yeah.
So the way forward is I think a tricky one, but again, I think it's going to be incremental, because a good suggestion by the previous caller was having these big decision makers come on and every once in a while and answer questions. But then there's another issue with that, and they've done that before. Let's not forget that they had Chris for a lot of times on the shows and answer the questions and whatnot. Yes, they did filter the questions sometimes, but then you have to be careful with how much those people answer and what they answer, because you don't want to end up in a situation where there are no limits on your imagination again, right? Because that's what Star Citizen has been for so long. We're just, the possibilities. The possibilities are freaking endless, right? But now we are at a point where the possibilities are becoming reality, and the reality of it is small and incremental. and it's not as exciting as the 2014 was, right?
Yeah.
When it could be anything, but
Yeah.
now it can be this, and that's another problem of why people are getting not as excited as before, because these ATVs, they're showing content that was announced that we knew we were getting on the roadmap,
Of course.
and they show it twice. Hold on a sec.
The roadmap's great, but the roadmap also made things less exciting. And then at the same time, I get what you're saying exactly, and that's why I really want them to shift towards a community engagement. Speak to us, get us involved in what's there now. I know it's personally it's something I made that switch on my Twitch channel a while ago. I said if I want to be successful at this, I need to make sure that I engage with the people that are engaging with me and that are interested in spending time with me. I need to make sure that that's what's important. And the engaged community are the people that watch ATV and watch RTV and that stuff. And as, somebody joins the Star Citizen community and sees, that's fine. That's all good. It's good. I'll just, kind of make my own thought here is as people join the Star Citizen community, new backers come in, they see that community engagement. They see that this community that's here, and they're welcome to it. It'll just continue to grow and build on its own. It's not something that you need necessarily these amazingly fancy videos or these beautiful cameras and the devs. You just need to be brought in and welcomed, but you have to be welcomed by Star Citizen. You don't necessarily have to be just welcomed by us,
Yeah, and it's a tough challenge because
it is.
The previous excitement was we didn't have any list of what was coming, right? That's another factor that needs to be talked about.
Yeah.
Now we have a list of these are the things that are coming this year, or at the worst case next year, right?
Yeah.
That also takes away a lot of the excitement and the stuff they could do on content, right? Because their priorities as well as the way they display information now has changed so much. They just need to find new ways to kind of get people excited again.
Yeah.
Like the roadmap is in a way great for us seeing like where this is headed, but on another end, it is also like it takes away of the mystery of what will be coming up next. For me, of course, it's way better that there's a roadmap, but yeah, I think having people like Chris come, like again, the management, the design guys come on every week would be a step in the right direction. On the topic of calling out all devs, I think calling out devs as a concept is great, but it's the execution that kind of fails. And the reason of that has been mentioned here on this podcast before, but I think that as a community, we should be more on Spectrum as well, not just on Twitch and Reddit. And we should also kind of, drive those conversations there a bit more because, like some of the questions, I mean, it's been pretty meme worthy at times. ATV, honestly, I'm not that against having a 10-minute ATV.
Me neither.
But then the issue is it's the whole.
We can't engage with it. There's not enough content there to support it, so why have it?
Yeah.
It's just like this thing that we watch, and we're just like, oh, okay.
Yeah.
Now what?
It's not engaging.
It's
boring.
It's
just showing.
And it's not showing anything new and exciting. Like when there's nothing new and exciting to show, it is what it's been the last couple weeks. And like again, going back to what I said, is it's totally fair that they don't have much to show right now. It's the beginning of the year. There's lots of planning, so on and so forth. All that stuff is fine, makes sense. I'm cool with it. But when there's nothing to show, ATV sucks. It is the worst.
It's pretty lame. Yeah.
Like we all look forward to it. I look forward to Thursday every week just in hopes that I'm excited by something.
Yeah, and I think that it is possible to have a bit of the longer ATVs along with the shorter ones too.
Yeah.
It doesn't have to be 10 minutes all the freaking time, right?
Yeah.
There could be a good 25-30 minute ATV now and then about a certain feature.
Exactly.
and add all the community questions in, like to reverse the worst, for example.
Mhm.
Like there are a lot of things they can do, but like I just want to talk again broadly of like whenever I worked on a much smaller project, and we were doing a lot of community engagement. We heavily relied on our forum engagements,
Okay.
and we made these huge blog posts, and we kind of wrote down the mechanics of the game. And we were like, okay, so this is how this part of the game works, and this is how that functions, and here are some images and
Stellaris
whatnot.
Dev Diaries.
Yeah, very similar to the Paradox Dev
Fantastic.
Diaries. Yeah, and so people would go under there and engage and talk, and you would see that content that's being shared that week on a live stream later, right? Or on a video later anyway, and you could, you know, see the gameplay for there. But the mechanics themselves, the deep dives, those blog posts were very, very important. And the issue is, I think CIG has become very scared of not disappointing people anymore, and
Yes.
I feel this. And I feel this everywhere now, because not only on their communication, it's everywhere. It's on their videos. They just don't want to say anything or do anything that people might take for granted.
And then they don't say anything at all because of it. And the thing is the community grew because they weren't scared about upsetting us. They said things, and if things change, they changed. And if you get upset, like literally, if you get upset when things change in this game, I don't know any other way to say it, but you're an idiot. It's just it is what it is. They get so triggered now, and I get triggered too, but it's just after a while I just like wake up and I'm like, okay.
Yeah, it is the nature of it, but like I can understand like how the community management team has become so defensive on this, and it is an issue that not only this game faces. A lot of the games do face this. They don't want to share too much, or they don't want to say any more than that, and then they sound as if they add like this artificial barrier of communication around them, right?
Yeah.
Like they kind of keep blocking themselves, and then you kind of feel it's very staged, it's very, you know, unnatural, because they have to stop saying this line here, otherwise, you know, they'll be blabbering and they might have a slip. But that's the thing, those slips are the things that keep this, you know, thing exciting. It's like, oh, they might talk about that, but we didn't expect it. It's a surprise, you know. And he hinted about this, or she did that. So they've put these barriers in front of themselves, I think, in order to not break any more promises and whatnot.
But then call us the greatest community in the world, but then don't do anything because they don't like us to get upset. We're the greatest community in the world because we're so passionate. So just let us be, whether it's positive or negative passion. It's still passion.
And that's the beauty of this project. I mean, it's the amount of like dynamic development that's been happening. Like the future's shifting, changing, adding. You know, like how many times have everything in the game been iterated upon based on feedback, based on development? Like that's the cool thing about this project. I think that needs to be like pushed more on the community engagement side, and let the backers engage more with the development. Because again, if a team of 15 developers on smaller projects can pull off at least detailed monthly or weekly community engagement plan, a team of 520 developers must have a lot more content and stuff to share.
And 4 community managers. 4.
Yeah.
4.
That the issue is when you have that many community managers and the community doesn't know what they're doing or where they are, or like what the heck, then they are community managing inside the company. They're not doing the community management that is about engaging the community, right? They're just, oh, here is our plan for the next 3 months, and this is our data from here. Yes, you need to do that, but you also need to be out there in the trenches and talking to people and get them engaged.
Talk to the community, manage the community.
Yeah. So that's why I really like Xylo and how he appeared everywhere on Twitch whenever there's a new SC streamer, and I think
he's been doing a fantastic job. That's community engagement to some extent.
Yeah,
I think there's somebody that needs to do the role of, you know, the dumpster is on fire and they need to put it out. But
Yeah.
You know,
And that's
or put it out
again,
before it gets raging. You know, I think they're
and
is
again,
more
the
the
issue
issue.
of that raging is because they have not fully explained everything. Like,
yes,
it sounds, because generally whenever people are raging, because they don't understand, they don't get the full picture, right? Once you get the full picture, most of the Star Citizen community calms down and be like, okay, yeah, I get it.
yeah,
But the issue is they haven't gotten it, and that's when the rage goes fucking like berserk. But the stuff with like Tyler fits Star Citizen, like Xylo's approach, just, I don't know, just being with the community, like it's the ones who are making the game happen.
yep.
And why not, be more with them?
And the game holds itself up now. So him playing the game with us is a really great thing.
Yeah, unlike Chris playing Arena Commander back in 2000. Yeah, that was
bad.
Yes, that was real bad. Yeah, so it is possible. Again, there is enough content because they have so many devs, and they don't have to spoil anything because they're working on Squadron. They can still show stuff, share stuff, because I'm talking, like, there's so much content. We don't see all of it being developed, and it's hard to fathom. But you have to think about, there's so hundreds of people working on it every day for 8 hours.
Yeah.
Like, every week there must be some cool and amazing stuff to show.
Yeah.
Even at the base stages. So the potential is there. It's just how they use that to engage more with the community and make it more interesting.
I agree. And I'll let you go after this, but one of the perfect examples of them doing a really good job, like, I know we're saying a lot of things that they're doing wrong, but one of the things they did a really good job with was the 300i rework. We saw that at a very early stage, and people got to interact and say what they thought about the concept, and that helps that artist move forward, but that also excites us about what's to come, right? I think that is probably one of the best examples of what I'd like to see them do more in the future is we're seeing something really early, really, really early, and it's okay to upset us. Don't be scared. We'll get over it. We'll keep buying ships. It's much more upsetting to ignore us or to kind of just leave us hanging here with nothing to talk about than or nothing to be excited about, maybe. To take it away from like that streamer mentality. And then to be afraid to upset us and not say anything,
Yeah.
And not engage.
I completely agree. And the in-game event stuff, more of that, like more of the Intergalactic Expo style stuff. They shouldn't be shy about putting cool stuff in the game and still use that as a community engagement or marketing stuff. This just was really nice.
Yeah, it just made sense.
But yeah, like we don't want to be treated as if we're investors, because we aren't. And not, I mean, emotional investors, sure, but like we don't want any payback. And I think that's a good thing, because you don't want your community to be because this is not a professional relationship. Like it isn't. And I think CIG should sometimes like take a step back and, just be more close to the community instead of, adding these barriers.
Yeah,
but that'll help.
The walls are big right now, and hopefully this show helps start to break them down a little bit.
Yeah.
And they kind of hear your voices instead of just streamers' voices who want content to make content for themselves. I specifically wanted to do this more on the guise of as a backer and not as a community influencer or whatever the fuck you want to call it. That's not really where I'm coming from.
Yeah, we don't want this to turn into another EA community management blah. It's just. A million miles between the company, the art of the game, and the community. We don't want that. And it shouldn't be like that, and hasn't been like that for a while.
Yeah. And
now that the company's turning more serious, it shouldn't keep like going towards that direction. It should still feel like a freaking family. I think it kind of is, in a way.
It still sort of does, but again, it's like instead of Jared or Chris or somebody feeling like they're a family member that lived just up the street, it feels like they moved to the next state over. And to go and visit them and to communicate with them, I got to drive a lot farther than I used to, and it's not as easy, you know? And
Yeah,
I don't think there's any reason why we can't get them a little bit closer than they were before, you know?
Yeah, I agree.
But all right, ASN, let me go. Thank you so
All
much
right.
for calling, as always. MVP.
No worries.
MVP of Answer the Call.
Nah,
Listen,
we're all MVPs.
you're all
here.
MVPs, but you and Cayman, Answer the Call wouldn't be what it is today without you two guys. I appreciate you guys.
Oh,
Thank you, boys.
hits me in the hearts.
Yeah. You know, I think it's a
All
great
right.
show now, but you guys kind of held it up and made it so people were comfortable calling in. I appreciate you.
Yeah. Well, I appreciate your content.
Thank you, dude. All right, I'm letting you go.
Yeah.
Have a good one.
All right. Later.
Bye. All right. So that is it for today's Answer the Call. I think it was a really good thing to kind of let you guys speak. Like I said at the end of ASN's call there, I think the most important thing is that I think a lot of the vocality from the community about their content tends to come from people that are looking to use Around the Verse, to use Reverse the Verse, to use these things as content for themselves, whether it be myself, Board Gamer, Noobifier, the guys, you know, that like basically transcribe what's going on and use it to communicate with their communities. That's not the reason for this show. The reason for this show is it's very obvious that the community content has been getting gradually worse over the years, and for people to share what they like and what they dislike and what they'd like to see from the future. Specifically because we know the community managers or whoever deals with the shows and anything involving the community are probably in talks and discussing how they want to do things in the future. So why not hear from us, from you guys, what you'd like to hear and see, and maybe, you know, a little bit of that seeps into what happens this year and the years going forward. So I appreciate you guys all watching. For those of you guys watching on Twitch, thank you so much for being here. And if you are new here, make sure you hit that follow button and come and watch some of the streams live. Most of the streams I do are Star Citizen. And if you guys are watching on YouTube, make sure you hit that like button on this video. Comment below about what you want to see from Star Citizen as far as their community content goes, and what do you like and dislike. And as always, make sure you hit that subscribe button for more videos like this in the future. And thank you so much for watching, guys. I will see you in the next video.